Hey guys, today in this video series I'm going to show you how to make your very own iPhone app. So to start, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need xcode, which you can download from the internet, from Apple's official site, and you also need to get your hands on the iPhone OS SDK. Uh, Me personally, I'm using xcode 3.1 with the iPhone OS 3.1 SDK. So, to get started, you want to open up a new project in xcode. And for this one, we're going to do iPhone OS, and to make it simple, we're just going to do a view-based application. We're just going to name it tutorial project. So now you'll see we have this window, and this is our main project window. We've got all our files here, and you can change whatever you're doing. So we can build this, right? And you'll see it opens up a little simulator, and obviously we've got a blank app. So in this video series, I'm going to show you exactly how to, make your own iPhone app. So the first thing we're going to do is make a class. So if you don't know what a class is, I'll explain it to you. So we're going to just title this Calculator Controller. So this video series assumes you have some coding experience, right? But basically, in Objective-C, you've got these things called classes, right? And so you've got a header file here, and you've got a implementation file, which is here. So this is importing foundation.h, right? And that's basically saying, bring me the foundation framework. And this here is saying, hey, I'm defining the interface for class Calculator Controller, and we're going to make it a subclass of NS object, right? And NS stands for next step. And basically, you need to do this because, it brings in the methods like retain, release, all that good stuff. Now, we'll get into what retain release does later, right? But for now, all you need to know is that NSObject is like the root class of everything. So, what we're going to do is go to this other, we're going to go back to the class window, and you'll see here we've got a bunch of different files, right? So what we want to go to is this. Now, a xib, xib, is an interface builder, right? And interface builder is this really cool thing. It's basically just drag and drop. So, let me show you. We can drag a button here, right? And we're going to save this. And you'll see we have a button. But how do we make that button do things, right? So we're going to quit out of that. Now, to make a button do things, you need to define a method for that button to call, right? So to define a method, we're going to do dash, which says this is a instance method of calculator controller, right? And we're going to do id action as the type that our method returns, which just basically means void, which means it does not return anything, right? And we're going to name it the button was clicked. And you need to also receive what it does, so you're going to do sender, and ID basically says this is a blank slate for any Objective-C object, right? We're just going to end that. And now we can go to the implementation file and we can say the button was clicked, ID sender. And now this is where we put our actual code, right? So we're going to say, so actually we're going to go back here and we're going to define what's called an instance variable, right? And we're just going to define int, which is an integer number. So it's like, it's a signed non-floating point. No, you know what an integer is. And we're just going to do count of clicks. And back here, we're going to say count of clicks equals count of clicks plus 1, right? So what this does is this says basically increment count of clicks by 1. Now, what we're going to do with count of clicks is we're going to say sender set title. And so what we're doing now is we're sending a message to the Objective-C object at sender, which is our button, and set title is a method for that object, right? So we're going to set the title, and what we're going to do now is we're going to do ns number with int, and then we put count of clicks, and then we're going to do string value, and we're going to end that off. So what this does is this is basically like a chain of function calls, right? So it's saying execute set title on sender with the value that is ns, and then we're doing, to get that value, we're computing ns number with int, which gives us an ns number object, and then we take that and we say get us the string value of this ns object, and we put it in there. So now this should be fine, right? Oh, right. Okay. So now that we've defined our function, we want to say, we want to actually make the button do that thing, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do object, and what this does is basically this says, hey, there's now one of these in our thing. So we're going to go here and open up the inspector, and we're gonna say it's now a instance of calculator controller, right? So now we can literally wire this up to the button, right? Like that. So now we're going to do touchdown. So now anytime we click this button, it'll do that, right? But if we run this in the simulator, it's just going to crash. Now, why does it do that? Well, basically when our interface loads, it doesn't know that it needs to have this object, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to edit our view controller, right, which is here. And we're basically going to say IB outlet calculate the controller, and we need to import our controller. So that way it knows, hey, this is our thing, right? So we're going to specify controller. And you'll see what IB outlet does shortly, right? And we're going to do this thing called property retain. Right? And we're not going to get into what this does now, right? Basically, all you need to know is that it now lets it know, hey, we want to have an instance of, we want to hold a calculator controller in here, right? So what we can now do is we can drag this, and now you see we have that outlet, and we can drag that, so now that is linked to controller, right? So now if we go back here, you'll notice it, question mark. It should be fine. But you'll see that it's not crashing anymore, right? So let me actually reopen that. Okay, yeah, it basically one sec. Okay, we're going to import so what we're saying is we're bringing in UI kit, right? So we're going to do UI button, which is the button we were doing. Sender, right? Set title. Alright. UI control state normal. And that's basically just saying the button is normal, right? What the hell? Ah. So now you'll see we have a little button that counts up, right? So that's cool, right? But what if we don't want to just have the button, right? Well, we'll see. I'll show you what an outlet is. So IB outlet, and we're gonna import UI kit here, and we're gonna say UI text field count display, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Interface Builder, and we're now going to go down here and just drag in a text field, right? And now we can see that we've got an outlet here, and we can actually connect it to that. So an outlet is basically a reference to an actual object in your interface builder thing, right? So it's basically saying that this variable directly points to this display, this text field, right? And so we're just gonna put in the text count here, right? And we're just gonna put 0 because there's nothing in there. And you can actually set all sorts of attributes for these. For example, you can go into Inspector and you can say, you know, I actually don't want the user to be able to type in here, right? So we're just going to do that, and we're going to go back into xcode, right? And in our code, instead of counting up the buttons, we're going to say count display, and then we're going to do set text. And now if we compile that and we open it up on our iPhone, you'll see that it now displays there. So, I mean, yeah, you know, that's pretty cool. And so yeah, that's basically the basics of Interface Builder and xcode, right? You have IB action and you have IB outlet, and those reference Interface Builder objects, right? You can drag things in here. You can connect things to other things. So yeah, that's how you make a basic iPhone OS app. This is Two Blue Torture out. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.